Hi, it's Maiorino again with free cooking videos. Today I'm going to show you how to make my version of a marinara sauce. Okay, these are all the ingredients you're going to need. I'm going to discuss them really quickly, but don't worry, I'm going to list them all in the video you'll see later. I have olive oil I'm going to start off with. Put that in here, let it heat up. I have this on medium-high heat. And we have one whole, this is actually 2 medium chopped onions. You use 1 whole and 2 chopped onions, 1 bell pepper. We have 2 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons of basil, a tablespoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and we have about 5 chopped garlic cloves. And use any combination that you like, but right now I'm using 4 cans of tomatoes, 2 crushed, 2 whole. You can use all crushed, you can use all whole. Doesn't really make, it makes a little bit of a difference, but not much. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do, I have this oil, nice and hot. And we'll put your onions and peppers in first. I used to put my garlic in first, but it always used to burn on me. So now, what I do is I put my garlic, I put my onion and my peppers in first. That reduces the temperature of the oil so the garlic won't burn when I put it in. Plus it will be on top. Okay. So we want to let that sit for about 4 or 5 minutes. Take a wooden spoon, just stir that around. Okay. So that's ready. You can add the spices in now. I like to let it saute a bit before I add the spices in. We're going to come back in 5 minutes when this is done and we'll show you. One more thing I want to discuss. Something here I have a diffuser. You want to use it so you don't get that burnt spot in the bottom of your sauce. What it does is spreads out the heat evenly along the bottom of the pot. It's called the diffuser, and exactly what it does, diffuses the heat. So you don't get that burnt spot. If you've ever cooked this sauce and you get that middle burnt spot, this will eliminate that. About 10 minutes. You can see it's nice and melted down. Not melted, but it's wilted down. You can see the onions are like translucent. The peppers are soft. That's just about right. So about 10 minutes is about what you want in here. It also releases all the sugars out of the green pepper and the onion. You can let it go longer if you want to get the onions caramelized. That's fine too. It just has a little bit of a different flavor. Okay, next I'm going to add the spices. There's really not on you right here. With basil, oregano, paprika, and parsley. And I'm going to mix that in. Now we're going to get about a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. It's the sea salt that I use. And ground pepper. About a teaspoon of each. And we want to put, let's use 2 small bay leaves, a large bay leaf. Just 2 bay leaves in at that size. Okay. And next we're going to add the liquids, which is the tomatoes. Okay. Okay. Watch these, the whole tomato splash, so you're going to just be careful when you pour those in so they splash. Whole tomatoes. Okay. Okay. Now the crushed tomatoes, we want to, just to get that last little bit out, I like to put about half of them, fill it halfway with water, and then I'll just going to show you really quickly here. Use an empty can for a spoon rest. I'm over here by the sink. And I'm going to wash off the sides. Halfway full. And I'm just going to go from can to can. So get that last little bit of tomatoes out of there. This way you don't waste anything. And we need a little bit more liquid in the sauce anyway. We're just going to pour that in. The next thing we want to do is we want to get this up almost to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. And then it just needs to cook for about 2 hours. The longer the better. You can cook it for 4 hours. It'll turn darker as it cooks, and that's going to be a personal preference. I generally cook it for about 2 hours, and that's a pretty good consistency that I like. It makes it pretty thick, but not too thick. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to bust up these tomatoes when it's all cooked down. About 2 hours. So it hasn't been 2 hours yet, but one thing I forgot to tell you is you got to keep stirring the sauce. When you have the whole tomatoes in here, you can go ahead and start breaking those up a little bit as it cooks. And when it gets to about, when it starts bubbling around the sides, which I can zoom in and show you, that's when you want to turn the flame down. Now with the diffuser, you're going to need to use more heat than you normally do if you don't have it. So just, if you've never cooked with one, it will take some getting used to. So right now the flame is pretty high. Let me show you the bubbling on the sides here that I'm talking about. When it gets about that stage, that's when you want to turn it down to about a medium heat with the diffuser or a low heat without. So now I'm going to turn the heat down. About there, you can lower it, check it in a little while, keep stirring it every few minutes, about every 10-15 minutes. And then we'll check it again in another hour or so. Okay, so it's been a little over an hour, and it's not done yet. But I'm going to show you how to smooth it out. First thing we want to do is we'll take the bay leaves out. That's just something I want to do. I guess you could leave them in for the next step, but I don't know what it's like to crush all those up in the sauce. Do you wonder how they make that sauce so smooth in the restaurants, that marinara sauce? Well, right now it's very chunky. And you could do it two ways. You could take this out and transfer it into a blender and do it that way in batches. But this way is much easier. What you want to do is get one of these relatively inexpensive, an American blender, and then you just pretty much drop it in. This one's got a low and a high setting. Put it on the low. Just move it up and down. And what this will do is it will just, the same thing as putting it in a blender, except you don't have all that cleanup. The immersion blender just rinses off, and you get a nice smooth sauce. And after I'm done with this, it's also will chop up all the big tomatoes because we used whole tomatoes in here. It takes like a minute, and you get a nice smooth sauce. And then we'll let this cook for about another hour, and we're done. Actually, if you want to, after an hour, you can taste it, and if it's to your liking, you can just be done then. But I like to cook a little bit longer, another hour should do it. Alright, so what I've done here is I've transferred about half the sauce into another container because I want to put meatballs in some, but my daughter will not eat meat in the sauce. So what I do is I put half the sauce, and you may have this situation in your house where some people don't like the meat, and I'm going to put the other meatballs in the sauce like I like, and I still have the marinara sauce over here, nice and pure, free of meat. And then all we do is we drop the meatballs in, and we'll let them cook. Probably 20 minutes, half an hour, and they'll be done. That's it. Okay, so the marinara sauce is all done over here. You have the meatball variety over here. And it's been about 2 hours. I don't know if you've been noticing this clock in the background. You can tell it's been about 2 hours. And all you need to do is let it cool, put it away, or cook up some pasta, and pour it over the top. Many, many uses. that's it. That's Maiorino's marinara recipe. You can get a closer shot of this and take a look.